Hit them claps. Do it like that. Okay.
It's 2-2-2.
Okay. Question number 1.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Yeah. Y'all freestyle?
Poorly, maybe.
I don't. You can.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna embarrass myself.
You gonna do it?
No, I don't know. I didn't know if I was being set up for something. So clearly I don't.
Nah, you all good. Because I do this every episode. So y'all good. Yeah. Every episode. Some people do it, some people don't. It's all good. Nah, you good.
I saw my life flash before my eyes.
People love, if you do musical improv, people love to set you up to.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that,
and
yo.
every time I just kind of like cross my arms and go, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel you on that, yo. That's like when everybody just tells you to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm chilling right now. Like,
Yeah, I'm not here to dance.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just came to hang out and socialize.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I was actually gonna be shocked if y'all had to do it. I'm like, this is a bold move. Am I okay there? Y'all started to rap on this. I'm like, that's kind of lit. I ain't gonna lie.
I think I've rapped once in my life at an improv show. And it went pretty well. It was at the Peen Choice Awards
Ooh.
a couple years ago. And I don't remember anything about it. I blacked out. I legitimately was like, I went somewhere else. I went to my mind palace. And then apparently it went well and people applauded. And then I just faded back on, into the line of people. Do you remember that? Were you there for that?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't even rhyme when I sing regular songs. So there's no hope for me.
I mean, you could be like one of these new age rappers. They don't rhyme either. So you actually be pretty decent, yo.
That's true.
Yeah, you might have a hit.
Just talk fast.
Yeah, for real though.
Like
yeah.
in rhythm.
Just find you a nice little drill beat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get another shot at it at some point, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. You already know.
Yeah, we'll start.
Y'all definitely coming back. But shit, we gotta start this first one. Come on now. All right, but y'all already know it's a Too T3rpd podcast. This your boy Donovan, aka Mr. You Knew What It Was when you signed up. All right, y'all. We got some special guests in the building. Known these two for a couple years now. They actually helped me get started in my improv journey. These were two of my teachers, yo. So this is actually really dope. It's like a full circle moment. I remember when I first started improv, and I was like, all right, one of these days I'm gonna have them on my show.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
That's really
Yeah.
Nah, for real. Like, I'm dead ass about this shit. That's why I was telling y'all earlier, I'm nervous. Like, I don't know. I usually don't be like this because usually I don't be tripping. It's like a conversation, but this is different. This is like, I don't know. I really wanted to get to know y'all outside of just improv, really understand y'all backgrounds and how y'all got to the point where y'all are at, because I'm really trying to get to where y'all are at. So
I think you're there.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
doing so well. I mean, you're
Nice,
clearly doing so well.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing. That's not a bit. This is really cool. Thank you.
no,
for
thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah, we're
Thank
really
you.
excited. We were nervous today too, because
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, we're not cool enough for this show."
Shit. Nah, yo. Y'all helping me expand, yo. Expanding the brand, yo. Because I started out as a weed podcast, but as y'all know, I'm starting to get into this entertainment thing full time, trying to figure it all out. And this is one of the biggest steps that I took to do that. So I want to introduce y'all to Ashley and Ryan, a.k.a. Touch Baseball. Ooh, hold on. Let me make sure I do this right. Damn. I didn't have it. There we go. You see that live audience out there? Come on now. You see all those people. That's right. You got to wave to the crowd. That's right.
Hello.
Got to show them some love.
So good to see you.
Yeah. So how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
Cold. I'm so tired of it being cold.
I know, right? I hate this shit, yo.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out every time I leave my apartment, because either like my car is gonna be totaled because someone will have run into it, or I'm gonna fall and hurt myself, or everything just feels hard.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yo, like that's the only good thing about living down here is I stay in the garage, but it's like a block away. So like the walk there is murder, yo.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's brutal. I would find so many excuses to not leave. I'd just be like, nah, I don't need groceries that much. I don't need, if I have to like walk a block to my car, that's
That's exactly what I do,
Yeah.
yo. I'm just like, what's that thing that I need to do today? Could it be done at home? Gotta figure out some way to just like make an excuse to not do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That block is just like, it's too much, yo.
Yeah, especially
First
when it's like a
world.
wind tunnel and all the buildings are tall.
yeah,
It's
in
like
the
extra
city.
cold.
Yo,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
Just gave me even more excuses not to get out. Appreciate that, yo. Yeah.
yeah, we'll come to you. So, but yeah, I'd say we're good. Like for the most part, other than weather, like coming back from the holiday, just trying to get things going and started, and yeah, just like
I did like doom scroll last night till the wee hours, and I should not have done that.
yeah.
So like, other than existential dread and stuff,
Yeah, all
I'm
the-
like good.
Yeah, all the big, huge stuff that we have no control over, and that we're all like quietly, independently, and collectively concerned about. All of that stuff,
Very upsetting.
very upsetting. But like, just like
My life is fine.
you're just getting up,
yeah.
getting up, being fed, like trying
Yeah.
to get something to eat, trying to stay warm, doing okay.
Well, and it's funny to like, since we work for an improv theater, which isn't always hilarious. Like, there's dumb, annoying. Yesterday, I was like worried about pipes bursting at the theater
Sure.
and stuff like that.
Yo.
But I don't know. It's funny to get stressed out about work in context when it's like we do improv, and then I think about the world, and I'm like, we're fine. I need to
No.
keep things in perspective.
That's the dream, yo. People don't even like. Actually, I think people do get it. That's why they be mad. It's like, how do y'all just get paid to play make believe all day?
They're jealous. They're jealous.
Well, we don't really get paid to do the improv.
Yeah, but we get
We get paid on the to do the stuff on the on the
Yeah.
edge.
True.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the
Yeah.
goal. That was like the initial goal, was to like figure out, because it was something that we enjoyed being around the people in the art form and all of that, and we realized that there are certain things to do with running the theater or teaching other people or teaching companies. There are different ways to like make a living around getting to do this more, and that's kind of what we've been doing and cobbling together.
And then you get like the lifestyle of like the flexibility, and you're close to it all the time. So I can justify being like, well, we're going to a festival, or I'm going to take these days off of work. I shouldn't air quote work. It's work. But like, it's like associated with work,
It's work.
and it's very flexible. And so, yeah, we kind of tried to create a job where we could do all those things at the same time, which is.
But you just brought up a great point, though. You were saying that you had to make yourself believe that this is work. That's how, like, I don't know. I feel like that's how much fun it is, and that's how great it is. That you have to convince yourself that you really are doing a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, and I was assuming like doing this is similar, because people see
Oh,
the final
yeah.
product and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's so cool and how fun. But on the back end, you're like, there's so much labor involved.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like this, even all of this, isn't even work, because I came from a manual labor background. So like doing this is just like, nah, this is fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm cheating the world right now by just being able to just do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's crazy.
that's like the best scenario, though, like where you're not just delighted by the final product, like the setting up the mics and setting up your lights and setting all of that stuff. Yeah, and editing, like all of that feels joyful on the journey. It's like that's how you know you've landed in the right place, because everything is joyful, and for sure it's going to have its days where maybe it feels a little bit more like work than others, but like
Yeah.
if for the most part you're setting up your mics and lights and you're like, man, this is gonna be so much fun, like that's how you know you're doing the right thing.
Yup. Hell yeah.
So that's sick. That's a good place to be.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's get started with y'all origins. So how did y'all get started into, I feel like it's bigger than just improv. Really, you guys are entertainers. So
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask this question, and I still don't have a prepared answer. For me, I've loved acting forever, but it was not a practical thing to do. So I was very much, I hate to say like discouraged from it. I was always encouraged to do the arts, but college was about like find a career. So of course I got an English major, which classically has no specific careers attached. So after college, I was like, I'm not really sure what to do with it. So I did some internships. I eventually worked on a dairy farm.
really,
That had to do with the boy.
okay.
I was following around.
Okay.
But I learned some stuff there. That was fun. And so then I decided to go to grad school. I was like, I really need a career now, though. So then I went and got a master's in theological studies. Again, classically not connected to a specific career. So I just learned about a bunch of stuff I liked. And in the back of my head, I always was like, I wish I was acting. I should look into acting. I should look into community theater. But when I finally moved to St. Louis, I found community theater very intimidating because I feel like you need to know a bunch of stuff to get into it. And I didn't know the right people or like how to get my audition put together. Like I think growing up, I always believed someone would just see me in a mall when I was 8 years old and be like, oh my God, look at this talented child. We have to put her on TV.
Yep.
And that never happened. So then I was like, I don't know what to do. But improv theaters teach you how to do improv, like from nothing.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, as an adult, I can go in and be like, I know nothing about this and not be embarrassed by that. And they go, fantastic, welcome. We'll teach you what you need to know. So that was my big draw to improv, was ignorance. and then knowing that I would be like allowed to take classes and didn't have to know everything. And then I just really, really loved it and got increasingly involved to the point that eventually I was like teaching classes and around a lot and picking up odd jobs around the place until we eventually cobbled together sort of our jobs there. But yeah, it started with definitely wanting to be an actor and not knowing how to do that.
Yeah, I would say similar for me. I mean, as long as I can remember, I was playing pretend. I was an only child.
Same.
So I have siblings now, but I never grew up in a house with siblings, so I had no one to play with. So it was just like me figuring it out. And I remember watching, shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway? And but I think even before that, I watched All That.
Yeah.
And that show is like, it was just like this sketch show. And I remember pretending to be a cast member on that show and making up my own sketches in my living room. And so that's like, I'd say one of the earlier things. And then, I was super into acting in high school. I was kind of like, the theater kid at my high school and just all I wanted to do was plays. And then in college, I got into music and discovered music because I had this like all that I grew up on was like 90s country, and then I had sort of a gateway late in high school, like discovering my own bands and artists that I really liked and styles of music that I really liked, and I was like, man, I really want to pursue music. So I did that for a while, got a degree in opera performance.
Yeah, really? I was gonna say, you said I got a little into music in college, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so I got
study fucking opera.
Yeah, right. So I got an opera performance degree, and then I was also like playing in bands in college.
We're not just gonna skip over that. What made you do opera?
It was, so oddly enough, it was like a requirement. I got a really good scholarship to go to college. That I would not have been able to attend college like without this scholarship. Like, I did not come from means. There was no money set aside for me to go to college.
I mean, you say you grew up on country, so we figured.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's not an unfair assumption. And so I got this scholarship to go to college, and I didn't realize as part of my requirement for the scholarship, I had to join the opera program, and I had a professor that just really kicked my ass, and we definitely like were at odds a lot of the time, but built a really good relationship, and she sort of like strong-armed me into my love for it, because she was basically like, oh, you don't know a ton about it, so let's learn more about it. And she gave me some pieces and songs that I really enjoyed and were really fun. I was like, oh, I actually really like this. And so that sort of like changed the course of my major. And but anyway, so I studied that in school. And then
badass, yo.
Yeah, it was really it was really cool. He
can't freestyle, but he can sing in German.
Yeah, sure. And then played in bands for a couple years. I'd say I did that for much longer. And then I started seeing shows at the Improv Shop, the old Euclid space.
Okay.
And then I saw a musical improv show in Chicago at the IO Theater, and I was like, this is magic. And I basically immediately came back and signed up for classes and started going to the theater 2, 3, 4 nights a week. I kind of like Ashley. I just became like obsessed with it, and the rest is now what it is. Cobbling together a job and trying to perform as much as possible, just because I love the people that I get to do it with, and I love doing it, performing. So
how many years have both of y'all been doing it for?
I think I'm at like 7.
Okay.
I think is that time's really weird.
yes, yeah, I'm about that too. I graduated a little before you.
Yeah.
But we're both around the same amount, I'd say.
7 to 8. 7 to 8, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just weird. Time is weird because it's specifically weird for us too, because you mentioned Touch Baseball being our improv team. Mm-hmm. We formed Touch Baseball in like January or February of 2020. And so we were...
Hold on. If y'all know anything about this, like, as good as they are, that's kind of wild that they just started 2 years ago. I did not know that. Yo.
Well, that's the thing is like, so we started in January, February 2020, and then everything shut down. So we didn't even have a show under our belt before COVID hit. And so, isn't that right? Like, I don't think we had performed.
Really?
Not as a twosie.
Yeah, not as a twosie.
Yeah.
And so we had this idea for this 2-person team, and then everything was shut down for 2 years. So, I mean, I don't think we had our first show until late 2022. Mm-hmm. So we've only been playing for a little over 2 years.
Yeah. And even just in the grand scheme of life, haven't even been doing improv that long. It's just been very concentrated.
Right. Exactly.
We just found it, and I was like, this is what I do now.
Yeah.
But we were playing together on the 145s.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were doing the musical improv team, which is how we met each other.
Yes.
And I started performing with that team while I was still in classes.
Mm-hmm. So
that was sort of the lead up to doing shows at all and finding people I wanted to perform with and all that stuff. So we had played together, just not as Touch Baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not specifically like our form or our style that we sort of like kind of aspired to when we started the team. We didn't really get to like have any swings at any swings until 2 or 2.5 years later.
Well, Ryan overheard me say to some other people at the bar at the improv shop one night, I was like, I would love to do a twosie, like a 2-person team. I think that'd be a really fun challenge. And no one there, everyone just went, oh, neat, and kind of turned away.
Really?
No one was like really interested. And then Ryan just kind of peeked around someone and went, I'll do it. And literally like a couple months later, we like got lunch and we're like, all right, well, what would that look like? And then a few years passed because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then we did shows.
I felt like such a creep. Like I was nowhere near involved in the conversation. I literally was just like,
but were y'all at least cool or anything like that?
Yeah, we were teammates.
Yeah, we were teammates.
I think probably in my mind, I hate to admit this in front of him now, but I was probably too intimidated to ask Ryan if he wanted to do it, because Ryan was also doing a lot of other teams and was a very popular performer, and I was like,
Yeah, Yeah,
I'm fine.
He do his thing a little bit.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Nah, you be smoking shit, bro. Both of y'all, yo. Like, for real.
I think we were mutually intimidated. But, after not a lot of interrogation of one another, we were very interested in very similar things, like a very similar approach. Because, like, again, our backgrounds were in acting, and we were also talking to Andy, a little bit, and he was just starting to kind of solidify certain things about the program, like the style that we teach, and we're like, oh yeah, that's what we're interested in, like a very acting, reaction, emotion point of view based, not necessarily dramatic, but just like really following what authentic emotion feels like, and just being open to the discovery of like, is it funny, is it sad, is it, and we're like, let's see what the ceiling is here, and that was just kind of what we did.
Hell yeah.
So
honestly, that's when I first started doing improv, I started because I did want to do acting and entertainment.
I remember that because in class I was like, why are you doing this? And you were like,
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like hearing y'all stories, it's just like, oh wow, this is wild, yo. Like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people have the same mindset. It's like a lot of people don't talk about it because you're taught to just talk about the whole team aspect of it, but it's like there are people who want to do this for entertainment, and it's like you do both. You learn to be within the team, but it's like you also have this goal of doing like when I first started, and you all started talking about how you could do the festivals and be on like house teams and all these things. I was like, wow, that's what I really want to do. Like when my house, no, not my house team, but my student team that I had Chicken Coop, we were really good, and I know probably all the teams say this, but it was like the chemistry that we had. Like I feel like we started off really early having the group text and all of that, like the WhatsApp and all of that, and like we even came up with Gramophone Tuesday, where we all meet up every Tuesday at Gramophone and hang out. Like we still do that from time to time now, even though like we all going on and do our separate things and whatnot. But it's just, I don't know, there's something about the improv shop to me that's amazing in that aspect, where it's like, I feel like it's like a lot of other comedy places and like comedy shops where you have all these people that come up with you and you all end up doing different things, but then you see certain people like they stick with the whole entertainment thing and they start branching out and starting to do their thing. I really like that about the improv shop, and how you start seeing these people, like how they're all creating these different avenues and different things, and how we're all kind of coming from the same space and the same spot. Yeah,
and like making, well, even just us being here, it's like you created an opportunity for other people to come and talk about what we do. It's such a team project. Yeah. And you can want things for yourself with that. Like you can be like, well, I aspire to a certain level or experience. Yeah. But I also know I can't necessarily get to those places by myself. Exactly. Yep. And it's like good to know that and to be in an art form that pushes the team mindset about it. Because any kind, even just becoming a independent actor, right? You still need 1 million people to say yes to you to get anywhere. People to believe in you, to push you forward. So like just knowing that on the front end and being like, oh, I need these people. I need to nurture these relationships, and we need to literally raise all ships. Like exactly. And I don't know. I think that's also why I stuck around with it, because. I don't know. Did you do like theater and stuff and high school theater and stuff?
Nope.
So you never had the like dramatic experiences of the like, it's like euphoria of being on a cast and then drama happens and everyone hates each other and audition season comes around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And absolutely. Even in high school I was like, I can't do this.
Really?
Yeah, it's just too like.
I always just heard about the parties after the plays. I heard that's the shit.
Yeah, it was.
See, I was a partier in high school, so that's all I really cared about. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I do the party shit, but all that other, I'm cool.
But there's something about this that the team is so important to the success of the thing.
Yeah, it's
that you have to care about each other, and that can't be an afterthought or just like a step. You can't just step on each other to get to where you're going. And I really think that gives it longevity for people.
It's unique too, because it's like the art almost incentivizes that care, because like the more you care, the more you vibe, the more the closer you are. It's just you see that change on stage. You see that impact the art that people make. I think another good example of this is Toxic, like an improv team that Ashley's on. It's an all-femme team that I think is one of the best teams in the city, if not wherever. And one of the reasons that they're so fun to watch is because they so clearly just enjoy each other. It's almost like I often say it's like voyeuristic. It's like us as the audience like are looking in, just watching people hang out and have fun. It's like, should we be watching this? But you almost feel included. Like at the same time, you're just getting to watch people really enjoy one another's company, and it's just so funny that you have this like art form that incentivizes being good and kind to each other, and figuring out, navigating those relationships and building those relationships. It's so cool, and something that I think continues to be true for me, like over and over and over again.
And I think that's why Some Black People has so much popularity
too. Yes.
In addition to just being excellent at what y'all do, but clearly everyone just loves to be together. Yeah. And your shared experiences and I don't know, there's just something fun to watch people.
It's magic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like
it's magic.
Every time I get with them, I tell them it's a whole different experience improving with them, because I love all my improv teams, but really being on an all black improv team has been like something where it's just been like, whoa. Like a lot of the things that you're afraid to do in normal settings, you can, because you have the people around you that have some similar experiences, and you all kind of have the same type of cultural background. You can kind of go towards different things. It's a little like, wow, okay, so if I can feel how to be comfortable within this, then I could do it at any point. It kind of helped me be a lot more vulnerable in my improv and whatnot.
Yeah, you have these opportunities for vulnerability because you have so much more trust, because you have like your access to empathy for each other is better just because you have like shared sort of life experience that other people just could never have with you. And I think that's kind of like being on an all-femme team is similar. There are just these moments where some idea gets thrown out and everybody goes, okay, we know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Because
we all speak the same language, kind of,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
And I know how to take care of you with this thing and vice versa.
Exactly.
And that makes it, and then you just take really big swings and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of be your whole self, right? You're bringing like this really full like version of yourself, and know that it's going to be like acknowledged and like understood at like a really fundamental level, and then like supported, which is...
And then I have to go play with Ryan, and I'm like, oh god.
Sorry.
No, but seriously though, like, you know what's really funny is I learned about my vulnerability in your class.
Which level was that?
Wasn't it? I want to say it was level 2 or level 3? I think it was level 2.
Yeah.
I want to say level 2.
Yeah, because we do weird stuff in level 2.
Yeah, it was this one exercise we did, because I remember you had said we were gonna do it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm feeling this, so I legit skipped that class. And then the next week, y'all was still doing it. I'm like, oh shit. And so it was like doing just being your vulnerable self, telling about yourself and whatnot. And so everybody had went around the circle, and they were telling all these things about themselves. And it was, the sooner it came to me, I'm like, I'm not telling them shit. I was like, no, I can't do this. This is wild, yo. Y'all just really telling y'all shit, and y'all cool with it? Like, we just gonna release this? And so I remember it was my turn. I'm like, all right. I said my favorite color is purple. You know, I work my job with my family, and that was basically it. I think I talked about my podcast, and that was it. And I remember we went to Gramophone Tuesday afterwards, and like, you know, you really didn't say anything. And they were kind of just like joking about it, and then I thought about it, I was like, wow, does this really mean I'm not vulnerable? Like, I don't feel comfortable really talking about myself to people. Is that weird? And then I realized, like, you know, my family experiences and like kind of where I come from, my background is more it's more valuable to be less vulnerable and kind of keep things to yourself and kind of have like a protective exterior to yourself. And so being around just the improv community and just all of this in general has really taught me, like, it's okay to be chill and, you know, not have to worry about anything, and really just let people know who you are and what you've gone through and what your experiences are, and kind of who you're really trying to be, you know? Yeah. I really learned that within that class. And
that's lovely. I'm so glad we tricked you into it. That's so funny. Well, and that's one of those, it's, the more I teach improv, the more I think about how important context is. I think sometimes people get this impression that improv, and because it's comedy, and because it's silly, and because should be fun, and it should be fun, but we take it very seriously, so sometimes we forget how fun it should be. But that it's loosey-goosey, and it's like everything goes, and it's kind of the opposite. It's like, yeah, you have this rule to say yes to everything, but that's dependent on so much previous work. Like, I'm not going to be like you that day. It makes complete sense. You're like, I don't know these people well enough to be too deeply vulnerable because of my lived experience, because of how I've been taught, because of how I've been sort of trained to be, and all that makes perfect sense. But over time, you get to know people more, and they earn your trust, and that context lets you make deeper and deeper inroads. The same as like saying yes to things on stage. I always tell people, you have no obligation to say yes to somebody who's an asshole to you. Like, never lose no from your vocabulary. The whole point is you have the power to not be vulnerable. So it's that much more special when you elect to be vulnerable, right? So it's like finding the people with whom you're like, yeah, I elect to take the risk. I elect to be vulnerable. I elect to go on stage without any plan. That suddenly what you're able to accomplish is really exciting and magical. But yeah, context is absolutely everything. So yeah, it's just cool. And it's cool to hear that experience, like in our class, where it was just like, you're like, I'm not doing this. And then, you know, a couple of years later now, doing what you do, and like, it's
might
just,
tell I got roaches in my apartment and everything on stage. You know what I'm saying? Not in this one though.
but yeah, that's just, I don't know. That's such a cool journey to have gone on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you've like clearly chosen for yourself and been in an environment and met people that like deserve that level of vulnerability from you. And I think, yeah, that is exactly like, I think what I experienced as an audience member watching some Black people play is just like folks that are just, you all just look so comfortable and delighted to be with one another. And I know that there's just behind the scenes, there's just like a lot of work that y'all have done on creating like not only your sort of team dynamic and team relationships, but like individual relationships with that team. Like it just it shows up in your work. I mean, y'all crush. Like y'all are so good and so fun to watch, and that's something that I think a lot of people that, you know, don't spend a lot of time doing this art form, they just go and see a show on Saturday night and then they go home. It's like, it is a lot of work to make it look so easy. Like, and I think other art forms would say the same thing too, whether you're doing stand up or you're a musician. I mean, there are thousands of hours of just playing scales or learning how to paint like certain brushstrokes the right way. It's just like, it's all of this conscious mastery that builds up over time, and then all of a sudden you can just kind of like let it go, forget, and play, and then everyone's like, wow, they must be so, they're just gifted. It's like, no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but with improv, it's the work on the relationships and the craft. And I don't know, I'm rambling.
No, you talking that shit, yo, for real. No, for real. Like, okay, so I want to go a little bit more into depth about your other teams and like a little bit about your history on your team. So touching a little bit more on Toxic. How did y'all get formed?
It was a cage match team.
Really?
Yeah, and cage match, it's a like a competition show that has a big like bracket. You know this. I don't know why I'm describing this to you. I'm thinking about like the listeners who wouldn't know what that is.
Nah, for real though. Hey, do that for them.
But yeah, so at the Improv Shop does an annual cage match competition, and teams sign up, and all year long you compete. And then if you get enough audience votes or the most audience votes on a given night, you move forward to the next week. And then at the end of the year, there's a big tournament. And it was one of those one-off, like Elena, I think, reached out to me.
Sounds right.
And it was just like, I'm putting a team together. This is who's on. Do you want to do it? Just for cage match. Elena's kind of famous for forming cage match teams and putting people on teams. And that was again one of those times where I was like, oh, I can't believe these people want to play with me. It was so exciting. All these people that I admire. And later on, Elena would be like, yeah, I was scared to ask you because I didn't think you'd want to play with me, which is so funny. I don't know why we have all this mutual fear of each other. We're like, these cool people don't want to.
I think it's the respect.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about the Improv Shop is the amount of respect that everyone has for each other.
Because you know how hard it is. Like, I know how hard it is and terrifying it is to go do improv. And how grateful we are when it goes well. And you know, we find the right group of people to do it with. So yeah, it was a cage match team. And we played, I guess we won several weeks and just had a lot of fun, and we were kind of sitting around looking at each other in the green room and we were like, we should keep doing this probably, right? And so eventually we started auditioning for house teams and doing some Saturday nights, but it was just like the right alchemy of people, I think. And yeah, it started with a super low stakes thrown together kind of. I don't think we ever practiced before we did cage match.
I could see that though. There's so many talented people on the team. Y'all don't. It's more like, I feel like once you get to that point, it's more about chemistry.
And we are like we'd all been on other teams with each other before, and we're had friendships and stuff. So yeah, it was really, really fun. And I think we kind of had that same experience, sort of like SPP, where it's just all these femme people being like, oh, this energy's really good. Yep. We're taking crazy swings on certain things, and it's working. Everybody knows how to. It's not that other people wouldn't have my back. It's just that y'all know exactly how to have my back. Yeah. So we stuck it out. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about shit show. Yo.
Yeah. So shit show started without me. So I'm not a founding member of shit show. So there used to be a show at the Improv Shop called The Gauntlet. and it was an amazing show, and I hope that it's brought back. Like, it's such a fucking cool concept for a show. It's essentially like, it was an 8-week talent show, kind of, and each week had a different theme. So, like, one theme one week would be, like, dance. The next week would be stand-up. The next week would be sketch. And so you had, I don't know, it was like 8 or 10 people that were sort of competing against one another. It was like a competition show, so that's something that I think is pretty rare at the shop. There's not a lot of competition outside of Cage Match, which is just really friendly, but it was like an audience vote competition show, and maybe sometimes they'd have panelists. Anyway, so they did the Gauntlet, and the original cast of the Gauntlet, I think Anna Smith was the one who won. Oh man, one week was Shakespeare was the theme, and everyone prepared like a Shakespeare like soliloquy or something like that, and it was fucking amazing. It was so cool. But anyway, Anna Smith won, and the prize for winning Gauntlet originally was you get to produce your own show.
Oh,
you get
shit.
like an 8-week run, and so it was like set up on the side stage. You would have this 8-week run, and Anna was like, well, I don't want to just do my own show. I want to invite the people that were all doing the Gauntlet with me to put together a show. And so they put together a sketch show. And so they did like a little bit of that, and it was one of those, it was a really magical time for me at the shop too, because I got to witness sort of like firsthand this show starting on the side stage at 10 p.m. and the first couple of shows, there were like 5 people, and then next week there'd be like 11, and the next week there'd be like 18, and then like by the end of their run, it was sort of this like cult, just fucking lunatic show of all of these like really creative people coming up with a sketch show every week, right? And then there were a couple of people that sort of like moved on, and they're like, we want to keep doing this, and they got the run extended. And I'm sure like Larry, or because Larry was like an original cast member, I think maybe Ryan Bamadeji as well, and maybe Christy too. I'm honestly not sure, because again, I wasn't around for those days. But a couple of people left the original cast of the Gauntlet, and then I was among like a handful of people that I was still in classes, I think. I was still in like, I don't know, level 4, level 5. But again, I was just fucking around so much that people were, I guess, seeing me at jams, and they were just like, you look like you're alive and breathing and available clearly to do this shit. And so I joined that team, and we just continued like making a sketch show. And there for a while we were doing a brand new like hour and a half sketch show every week. So we were like writing all new sketches every week, filming all new sketches every week. There'd be weeks that we were meeting like 3 or 4 times a week to like film, write, rehearse, just to like put up this show.
I was on some SNL type shit.
It really was. And that was another like really kind of like unfortunate COVID timing thing, because we'd had like a run of shows, like I'd say in like late 2019 and 2020, where we'd moved over to the main stage, and I don't know if we were still at a 10 o'clock slot at that point. I think we might have still been, and we were maybe not, I don't remember, but we were selling out every show. It was like 150 people, like just, you know, we would put up that there was a show, and we'd have 150 people in the audience, and God, that felt so fucking good. It was so fun.
And I remember too, because Michael would do a bit where he'd come out and he'd be like, I'm the marketing team for this team, and he would be like, why are you people here?
I don't know who you are.
How did this happen?
Yeah, and it wasn't.
But it was also, he's like, but seriously, tell me, like, how did you all find this?
Because a lot of times, like, it's not like how some shows is like you'll see a bunch of improvisers and like people in the program, like people you know. We'd like look out in the audience. We'd legitimately be like, who the fuck are these people? Like, how are you finding out about these shows? But the way that you all are describing, you know, some black people like toxic, like that was, I would say, I'd been on some things that like I really enjoyed and were definitely like formative in my early days. But like Shit Show was like that first team where I was like, oh, these are my people. Like we just like speak a language that we all understand, and yeah, just I love all of them so much.
And the group chat's infamous.
Yeah, the group chat is infamous. Like we still talk every single day.
That's fine.
I mean, even years and years on and not having any shows on the books, like we are still talking like every single day, writing sketches, doing bits. You know, it's just, I love those.
Hell
fools.
yeah. I love that shit, yo.
Yep.
That's my goal. I really want to do a sketch show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been writing a couple. Like, I've been trying to learn how to do everything. Because when I first saw Shit Show, I had an idea of, like, what I wanted. Of course, you know, you got the Chappelle Show. You got all these bigger name, like, shits. And it was like, how do I get to that point? And then I saw y'all, and I was like, wait. You ain't even got to go, like, all the way there. Like, y'all are killing it. Y'all are doing just as well, if not, like, as better skits than those people. And it's like, watching that being produced right at the Improv Shop is crazy. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like, now I just gotta really start honing in on my actual craft, like all these skills. So that's when I started taking sketch classes and all of those things. And like, I'm just trying to learn everything that I can, like doing tech at the Improv Shop. And, you know, just, like I said, I don't know, it's been really interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love how you're just like, I'm going to learn all of the pieces
Yeah.
of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because not all of them are like fun. You know, some of them are like just real technical or work or laborious or whatever, but I don't know.
But to see the finished product.
Yeah, it's like really satisfying.
Yeah, I like seeing shit through. Like, I've been doing Paint Lewis these last 2 years. And so we'll do the whole media coverage for it. So I'll interview the artist.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah. So I've been like, it's been fun producing that and like getting in my directing bag. Because that's ultimately what I really want to do. Like, of course, I want to act in all those things. But, you know, eventually, you know, I get old and, you know, anybody want to see this mug on the face on the screen all the time. So got to have that backup job, you know. So I figure I start learning that now.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like you're talking about these really popular examples of sketch shows or whatever. And half the time it's like people that were really skilled, right? They trained on it, they learned it, they practiced a ton. But then it's that plus they would do it with their best friends.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like, that's the way a lot of like SNL started, or you think about any of the college magazines that became really popular and turned into comedy mags. And then
There's a really great documentary about the guys in the folks in Kids in the Hall. Kids in the Hall is like a 90s sketch show that was a little bit more like independent than SNL. And that documentary is so fucking good because it really, for me, it sort of bridged the gap like you're talking about. It's like, it's so lofty to be like, oh, well, how do I go out and be fucking Key and Peele? Like, I mean, you know, they've got a budget and distribution and all of this acclaim and fame and obviously they worked a ton, you know, to get up to that point, but you don't see all of that. All you see is their finished product. You're like, how do I get to that point? And for me, that Kids in the Hall documentary really like peeled back of like, just somebody have a camera and a stupid idea, let's fucking go.
show up with your friends, show
you
up
know,
with your friends and make shit.
Yeah, just show up with your friends and make shit. And that was definitely like our whole like mentality with shit show was, we don't know if we're like headed anywhere, but we amuse each other and we like writing sketches and we love the rush of like, holy shit, can we get this done in a week? I mean, there would be times where we would be short a sketch 30 minutes before the show, and we'd be like, all right, so and so's gonna go out here and do this bit, let's try it. And it was just like fearless. It was just like fearless. And if we like bombed, we were all like dying laughing at that because we were all so psychologically safe, you know, that we're like, oh, this is okay. Yeah, we're trying some shit. Not everything's going to hit the way that we want it, but we just found it so funny. Like, all right, that bombed, on to the next. Or can we make it not bomb next time? Can we tweak this, and this and actually make it work? It's so fun.
Yo, I love that. Yo.
Yeah.
That's
so
fire.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I hope they see this. I love them. I ran into one of them at Schnucks today. So...
Well, you know, I want to get all these teams. Like, that's my biggest thing is like, I really want to start branching into like the local improv scene and then branch out. But like, I feel like there's so much talent at the Improv Shop, and I just want to like, I don't know. That's one of the things.
I love you for that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to want to be like, oh, we got to go to the big market instead of like recognizing where there's talent at home. So that's special.
I'm all about that, yo.
Yeah.
Let's go.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about the home team, yo.
Yeah. Let's go.
I feel like that's how you get
Let's go.
anywhere. Like, you ain't shit unless the people that, like, you originally came from, like, really fuck with you and, like, support your thing. Like, to me, you ain't really doing shit if that's not the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think St. Louis especially, like you need that if you want any kind of success. It's like it's hard. Like it's hard and yeah, I think it's something that we're really dedicated to, again, being in a specific art form where you say you do improv and they're like, "Oh, have you done Second City?
Are you moving to Chicago?
Are you moving to Chicago or New York or LA?" And I'm like, again, no shade to other markets. I've seen really good improv everywhere, but I mean, I'll say it from the rooftops. I've seen Friday and Saturday shows in St. Louis that rival any big market out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been to festivals. I've seen it done from all over. I've seen it done from people like all over the world at this point. And you know, it is an ephemeral art form, and you know, there are off nights and on nights, but like, damn, when people are hitting in our scene, it's just unrivaled, in my opinion.
Well, and it's all the stuff we've been talking about, right? Like, you invest in the community you're in to do it.
Yes.
Because it requires the community you're in to do it. So if I like divest from that community, you know what I mean? Then it's kind of the whole point, all the magic gets lost. So, yeah.
You gotta drop a bomb for that, boy. Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that's fire, yo.
I love that.
You know, gotta hit the drop show.
Gotta get one of these.
Yeah, for our improv shows.
Nah,
Just for walking around, I say a thing and I.
Yeah, exactly. To like really guide the audience to how we're feeling about our
Did you hear what I
performance.
just
Like,
said?
yeah, did you hear what I just said? And just you just dropped a bomb. Like, that was really good.
I got a soundboard in my head now. Like, whenever things happen, I'll go, oh! Bomb will drop.
Yeah, I'm killing in here always. Like,
So I don't need y'all. I got my soundboard.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You kind of have to live that way, though.
You kind of do. Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta kind of, yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are going to tell you that you can't, but they aren't you, you know? You've got to sort of decide for yourself what you want to do and what you're about, and it helps to have like people around you that love and care about you and are honest with you, because that's like, we talk about that being our fear, like the kind of the American Idol effect, where someone gets all the way to the final, not the final round, but the first round where they're in front of all the judges and they're not a good singer. That's like my worst fear. But fortunately, I don't think that that's the case with like us and all of our.
You're looking at me like, is it?
Is it?
But is it though?
Is it?
A lot of our friendship is just like dealing with each other's anxiety.
Reassurance.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the best type of friendship, yo.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it's real. It's so real.
Yeah, you gotta have that. Yeah, because there are a lot of people that have their own opinions, and you know, they're entitled to them. But I love what we do.
Yeah.
So
Man, stop. You know you be killing shit.
That's the thing. He
Damn
doesn't
eyes.
know that.
yeah, that's why I keep at it though. You know, you got to take it. You got to take them both, right? It's like I get in my head as we all do, but it's like it takes both, because I'm like, if I'm like, yeah, I'm good at this, I've mastered this. I feel like there's that temptation to like stop pushing and stop like pursuing it. So it's almost like it would be a detriment to do that. And so it's like I'm not like manufacturing my doubt in myself. Like, it's very real, but it also is something that sort of fuels and inspires me to be like, all right, there's more to mine here. There are places to go and things to explore.
Well, in anything you really care about, I feel like you have that. I don't know.
It's passion.
Yeah, you're passionate about something, and then all of a sudden you're like, but it could be better. But I could have, you know. So students sometimes will be like, when did you?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, just realize you could do it, or stop, you know, feeling bad after shows. And I was like, I feel bad after shows sometimes. Like, of course I have, because it's something I care about.
Exactly.
And I put a lot of myself and my life into it, and that's, I don't know. I just think that's true of any like artist.
You want to be good.
Yeah, you want to be good, and you're giving it to people, and you're like, God, I hope they like me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough, but also, well, and teaching also just created a whole new set of like vocabulary in my head to reflect on what we've done and be like, oh, we could have done so many other things, or I failed to do this thing, you know. So it's a weird lens I have to learn to turn off, I think. But yeah,
that's been the new challenge.
Yeah.
Is not playing like 4 or 5D improv in the moment, like
just
being like a teacher, having your teacher lens on while you're playing. It's like, no, I need to be present. But yeah, that's been an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Nah, like I feel like y'all come natural at teaching, honestly.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. For real. Y'all are both really like, I think you two out of all my teachers, because I think not only because I see y'all all the time at the improv shop, but it's really like the energy that y'all give towards the classes and just the improv shop in general. Like you can tell you all give it your all.
Oh, thanks.
And like, I don't know, it's like, I really like, I get inspired by that because I realize that's what it takes to really be good at something. Like you really gotta be dedicated to the craft and like, yeah, y'all embody that.
That's really, really nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, it's cool that it's noticed.
Well, it's so funny because I think like there's something. Well, kind of all what we're talking about is like you have to take your own shit seriously.
Yeah.
Right. I said this the other day in a class. I was like, improv is the stupidest and most important thing you'll ever do.
That's real.
Because genuinely, we'll like leave a show, and I'll be like, hey, in that scene where we were talking about poo-poo and pee-pee, it really would have made more sense if we'd heightened up to like farts and burps, and we didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like it's the stupidest shit. But you're putting so much of your like energy and intelligence and heart behind it that you can't, all of a sudden you stop and you're like, wow, this is really dumb. But at the same time, there are these moments when you're teaching and you're like, I'm really excited about this. And then you're like, does everybody here think this is crazy? You know? And then I'll talk to students later who are like, oh, I run a really successful podcast. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing listening to me?
What are you listening to me for? Yeah. But I think it's that, it's vulnerable all the way around, right? Like caring about stuff is vulnerable, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's really cool when people see that and are like, that's awesome. Not you're a dummy. So,
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Cause y'all are good at what y'all do, so that's like.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think about when we start talking about it being like the dumbest thing and the most serious thing that you'll do. I always think about Conan O'Brien. Like Conan O'Brien for me is just like is such a beacon example of this, because like that dude was like, he's like Harvard educated, and you watch his show and you're like, this is the biggest, the word that always comes to mind is he's the biggest buffoon that I've ever seen. But anybody who watches him and anybody who knows anything, in my opinion, about comedy and watches him, they're like, that dude's a genius. That dude's a fucking genius masquerading as a fool. Same with like, we were talking about, I mentioned Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mentioned like Robin Williams. Like Robin Williams was on that show and obviously had a career way outside of just his appearance on that show. But like, that dude was a genius. That dude was brilliant and often just aiming all of that brilliance and intelligence at doing some of the silliest, stupidest things possible. And that for me really is like, that is the magic. I think it's just something, there's something so human about like aiming all of ourselves at something so like frivolous for the sake of entertainment.
Well, I had a revelation about this the other day. If I may wax poetic about this for a second.
Let's go.
4 core emotions when we do improv. Say it with me.
Mad, sad, glad,
afraid. Yep, really good.
Really good.
You can clip that.
Yeah, thank you. But we were talking about them in class, and emotion day is hard for a lot of people, and we've all been there where we're like, wow, I'm walking around a room trying to hit a 10 at these various emotions. And for a lot of people, different emotions are hard for different reasons, because it's like some people just have never had access naturally to this emotion. I know a lot of like female-bodied people struggle with anger because it's not a safe emotion to project, and all sorts of things. They're all reasons. A lot of people across the board, in my experience anyway, struggle with happy. They're like, happy feels so weird, feels so inauthentic. Improv is not necessarily like a subtle art, so we're not always going for the most like nuanced performances. You can get there, that's something that we really enjoy, but like you have to start with just clarity. So it's like just act happy, and people are like, I don't know what that looks like. And I thought about this for a while, and I was like, I realized loving something and being joyful about something is maybe the most vulnerable we can be, and so we just don't share that with people. Happiness is the emotion we portray to the world maybe the least, and so it's like not practiced, and people physically don't know how to do it. And I was like, that's so sad. And like kind of the beauty of improv and this art form or any of these things where it's like something silly is it's really not silly at all. It's something that brings you joy and makes you laugh and that makes your friends laugh. It's like, why wouldn't I pour all of my energy into that? And yet for some reason that's really hard. And even just talking about it now where I'm like, do people think I'm dumb? And it's because there's that, we're taught somewhere along the way that it's like loving something is weak, or loving something, I don't know, just opens up the door to judgment. And I've just been really dwelling on that. And when people are like, I don't know how to act happy. And I was like, we should all think about that. Why is happiness such a hard one for us?
Yeah, I think that's also something that for us culturally was such a thing, because I think when I was a kid and like up through my teens and up through like early adulthood, all I wanted to be was cool.
Yeah.
And for me, all of my examples of being cool were detached. And I think
unaffected.
That's unaffected.
Yeah.
Like I'm, and I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck, right? And that was sort of like the kind of the punk cool thing to do. But so I'm going to parlay your revelation into my revelation, especially with where we started this conversation about all of this shit going on, like the macro highest levels. Like one of the most like radically punk things you can do is to be vulnerable, to be like, be unabashed about your joy, and to invite other people into that. Because I think that's where community happens, and I think that, again, in the face of all of these big things, like that is one of the most radical things that we can be doing right now is investing in our communities.
And you have to build those communities,
Yeah.
because that's why we learn that. You do something, you go, this makes me joyful, and someone goes, you're a piece of shit, put that away. And so you do, and you do that to be safe, and building the community where it's welcome and where it's explored and where it's everyone says like, yes, that matters. Is really I guess punk rock.
Yeah, it's a very powerful thing. It's a very subversive thing, and that's, I think, something that, again, I love about this art form. And there are varying degrees and pursuits. Like you have sort of the highest levels of not even improv, going to SNL or being part of a writer's room. But there's something like very anti-capitalist about improv, because there's no creative product that you can really go and sell. You're selling community, basically. Does that make sense? Am I going off the deep end?
I ain't gonna lie, it might sound a little corny, but sometimes I do be feeling like this must be what they feel like in SNL, like in the green room and all of that. Like sometimes just like those conversations and just the whole energy back there is just like, holy shit, like I'm really doing this. Like those are the moments that I really have where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm really a part of this. Like,
I love that. I'll like listen to my friends talk or watch them play or be at some show, and I'm like, damn, somebody should like be writing a book about this, because I think this subculture, because I love reading about subcultures too. Like when SNL's just getting started, there's, there are all those like little books of like people that have documented these scenes that have popped up all over, and I'm like, man, there's something really special going on here. So yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, I feel like all of that's being created within the different teams that we're in, all the groups, just the whole improv community in general. I feel like it just naturally happens, yo.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of in like a little improv renaissance right now with everything that's going on. Like the whole made up at STL, Dermot Hall, like that was huge, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knew? We didn't know.
Really?
Yeah,
we were just like, man, the month leading up to it too, I was like, we've got to sell tickets to this.
Man, y'all tripping. I knew that shit was gonna sell out. For real, I knew the whole time.
And that's such a great example too of like why we have to do this with friends. Like, I don't know. you can't believe in something or have 100% confidence 100% of the time, and that's exactly why you have friends and teammates.
Yeah,
and it's like, when you run out of steam, that's what having your back is. I will have confidence for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's so huge.
Yeah, we traded. I think you and I traded meltdowns.
Yeah.
Like that month and a half leading up, there'd be like days where I remember. I think I called you once where I think I made a to-do list and I just called you to list my to-do list and just panic. And you're like, well, all right, dipshit. Like you have it written down. You just read it to me, and I'm like, yeah. And you're like, okay, so you know what you need to do. Just do the first thing on your list. I'm like,
I was nice. I was nicer than that.
yeah, you were very
really
nice.
supportive.
And I was like, oh, I know. I'm just like losing my mind right now. And then I felt like, a day or two days later, and you're like, we gotta sell fucking tickets to this thing. Nobody's gonna show up. And I'm like, and then I was you, and I was like, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be fine. People are gonna show up. Like, but definitely in like retrospect, like that was one of the most visceral, like, if you build it they will come moments of my entire life. Because at the beginning I was like, this is a really cool idea, but I don't know who's gonna show up. And then to have it sell out was pretty surreal.
And have the community just be so like excited for it was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, that shit was fire, yo. But I don't know. That's why I'm glad we had this conversation. It's something that you just said that made me feel like even better. Like, you were saying how nervous you were at first and how you have a list. And you had to just talk to somebody about your list. Like, I had to do the same shit. Like, literally just this whole, honestly, these last couple of weeks, just really going out and saying that I'm going to do this now. Like, I was already, doing the podcast, but now it's like, I'm putting my all into this. Now it's like all or nothing. Like, I'm not, this is everything now. Like, I'm about to start a vlog. Like, I'm about to do all this shit just to like really dedicate my whole life to this Too T3rp brand, like improv, comedy, sketch, like just entertainment overall. Yeah.
And
Which is crazy too, because like sitting here, I'm like, and it'll be great.
yeah.
Which is so easy for me to say, but it's that confidence thing where when you're in it, you see the work and the anxiety and the risk and the what ifs and stuff, and then
I really appreciate.
But the community is going to be like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, whatever you do will show up.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, I mean, y'all already had like this honestly, I don't know if y'all really realize, like, y'all put a battery in my back now. Like, I feel like I'm shit now. Like, hey man, can't nobody tell me nothing, yo. For real, because I really wanted this to happen for a while now. And it's like everything happens when it's supposed to. Because I was always afraid to ask y'all, honestly.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I was thinking the same thing. Because I remember, like, we'd, like, connected about it. And then there was something, like, with our schedules. I don't know. It was completely my fault. And then, but yeah, like, hearing just, like, you dedicating to yourself to this, like, fully, and sort of like where we are too, like we're kind of in the same mindset because it's the beginning of the year, and I don't know that either of us are particularly like resolution people, but it is a good time to sort of like take stock and be like, okay, well, what do we want to set out to do this year? We've been just doing like a lot of talking about that, and just like with corporate improv and with Touch Baseball, like touring and festivals and shows and stuff like that. I think we feel the exact same way, and I think it was just like for both of us, like for all of us, very kismet. Like this was the time that this conversation was supposed to happen.
Yep.
So, we were scared we would be really boring.
Yes.
It's just funny. You're like, I was nervous because I don't know.
Yeah, because this is.
I don't know.
It's a very like vulnerable thing because like we are so clear. I mean, anybody that's watching this is like, wow, these people are like really unabashedly kind of into this thing, and that's like a really vulnerable place, and it's not, it's not for everybody, and it is like kind of like a vulnerable thing to be like, yeah, like this is something that we find really interesting and cool, and hope that this is us. This is what we're into. Sorry.
We gotta review this past year of one of our shows on the road that was like really good improv, not the funniest. And I was like, Thank you.
You spiraled a little bit on that one.
Yeah, like, which I get, because again, we're not a laugh a minute, like,
and to
we
be
play
clear,
very slowly.
I have to clarify because it's really important. The exact quote is really important, and that is not the exact quote.
I blocked that.
Yeah, this is your brain. The exact quote was, it was not the funniest set at this festival, but it was the best set I saw at this festival. And I'm like, I'm good with that. Like, I'm totally 100% good with that, because I think I would rather be like memorable than like a laugh a minute, yuck 'em up, and then you just forget it when you walk out the door. I think the shows that I've seen that have really stuck with me have impacted me more deeply than just like, oh, that was fast and funny. Mm-hmm. And I think that at our best, we're like, yeah, that's what we want to go and do. But like on those days where it's like hard, it's like, well, I want to be funny. I want to, like that's there.
And that's like that confidence in, you can't be everything all the time. Yeah. Like you're just talking about, you're like, I have a brand, and that brand has parameters and constraints and stuff. And we tend to play, or found ourselves playing, relatively slowly, and a
little bit more. I feel like it tends a little bit more acting leaning, because I feel like that's the difference that we have with our improv scene. It's like more scenic and not like less gamey. Yeah. But I really like that.
Yeah,
because I feel like it helps tend to like crafting a little bit more than just being goofy and funny. Like you're actually, like, again, it's like if we're taking this like as a craft.
Right. And I don't necessarily think like being incredibly funny or getting a ton of laughs and being quote unquote like really high quality or mutually exclusive at all. I just know that for us, our style is not like, I don't know that I have the capacity to be crazy hilarious. You know what I mean? But they have those moments too, especially when we go out of town and you hear people laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, they're not laughing at what we're doing, and they must hate it, and you like lose confidence.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so grateful that we get like to go back to the green room and have someone go, hey, you're good. Hey, you're okay. Hey, I have your back. Hey, we're still a team. Or even if you didn't have a great set, your team is like, well, we'll just try again next week. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like, that keeps me doing it. Cause it's such a hard thing to like, believe in your own, the thing that you love. I guess it goes back to the joy thing.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I'll be like fucked up coming off the stage. I'm like, oh man, I did shit. And then somebody be like, oh man, y'all killed it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take it. Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I don't know. I get in my head a lot with this, for real.
Yeah. It's easy to us too. We did a show. We did a show in Omaha that, like, I'd say we felt like pretty good about this. Like most recent, that's Nebraska, right? Yeah. In Omaha, Nebraska, we went up there for a festival. And we did a show, and the previous time we went up there, this was not part of a festival, and like we had a show that we felt like fine about, and we're like, they're never gonna invite us back. Like it just felt, the show just felt like fine to us, and like we still had people come up and be like, oh, it was a good show, but you just know when you're like, you just kind of know like the response. And surprisingly, they invited us back, to do this festival again. And we had a show that like we felt pretty good about. And usually we're pretty hard on ourselves. And again, like there's this, I don't know, maybe this like internal thing that's like, oh, I really want people to like laugh a lot, and people did, like the whole time, like in retrospect, like we had the audience.
But
I
can't hear it at the time.
Yeah.
Do you hear laughter at the time?
Sometimes, but for the most part, I'm so zoned in to like my team and all of that.
Same.
If I'm on the sidelines, maybe I hear it. If I'm in the scene, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just in the moment.
Like it was a silent audience, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. And we were the last festival. We were the last show. We were the last show of the fest. We were the last block, the last show of the fest, and so it was like the kind of like ride or dies were staying and hanging out for the show. And we had so many people come up to us, and they were like, I cried. Like your show made me like legitimately like tear up. and cry. And again, not to like be whatever, like we're so great, but we're like, damn, that feels, that's not all funny. That's not all laughing, but it's like, if we're doing something that's, you know, it's
touching.
still, yeah, it's touching. It's still entertaining in a way that's like, I think a little bit rarer in sort of the greater aims of most of what people are pursuing inside this art form. And that's something that I sort of wear with a badge of honor. I love when when I'm part of the audience, when I go like that, I'm so invested that I'm like, oh, this is a bullshit make 'em ups pretend show, and I'm invested in these characters and the storyline or whatever's happening.
That's like the set we saw in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, just
that was amazing,
so
yo.
fucking inspiring. And like, again, I gasped 5 times, not over the, like, I was surprised.
You talking about Blaine and Erica?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out Blaine and Erica. They have no idea who we are.
No.
Probably 2-person musical improv team.
I followed them on the gram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did too. I was like, anyway, continue.
Well, the energy in the room just after that, we were just like, that's what's possible. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Damn, wait,
I
y'all
was
felt that
crying.
way too?
Oh,
But y'all be doing shit
no
like that.
way.
That was like another level.
That was like
another level.
that was another level upon another level upon another level. Like that was a fucking like masterclass. And again, it didn't sacrifice any of like how funny it was. Like it was a hilarious show, but it was all just still sort of swaddled in how touching and human and honest it was. And we're just like, God damn, like that is that for I think for both of us, we're like, that is like what we're marching towards.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of just,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, that was wild how it went from like, this is your imaginary friend to like, oh wait, no. Plot twist.
Yeah, that.
You're my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You're my
Yeah.
deceased
And
mother.
it wasn't manufactured.
It wasn't
Yeah.
manufactured.
It was organically arrived at. I leaned over. Did I lean over to you? And I was like, because it was 2 players, and I was like, one of them doesn't. I was like, oh, she doesn't, or he doesn't know that it's yet.
Yeah.
And I realized that this one player was like kind of putting that out there, and it hadn't clicked quite yet. And when it did, I was like, it was it just happened so organically. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
so it was really funny to watch it happen in the audience. It was becoming clear to him that this character, it's so funny to like rehash an improv show that no one will ever see. But it was becoming clear to him that this character he'd been interacting with the entire improv show was not just an imaginary character, but it was his dead mother. And so this became clear to him as the improviser playing the character, and then he floated it again, and then it started to become clear to the audience. The woman that he was playing with, it wasn't quite clear to her yet.
Right.
And then as the audience is sort of figuring this out, I think he floated it one more time, and she's like, oh my God, you see the realization happen on her face, and then everybody in the room is crying.
It was crazy.
It was unreal. Like, I mean, I just got full chills thinking about it again. And they're singing the whole time, and
It's
everything
so dumb
rhymes.
How good they are.
But yeah, it was really cool to see that realization. I was like, did I just witness that? But I ended up talking to her after the show, and she's like, yeah. I witnessed them talking to one another, and she was like, oh, you said this, and it took me like a second to really latch onto that. But once I did, I was like, oh my God. And so it was really cool to hear from her own lips.
I love that you had like a nice, deep conversation with him. I just walked up and I was like, inspired. That's really good.
Amazing. Well,
Thank you for everything.
No, to be clear, I didn't really talk to them. I just like, like while they were talking to one another and rehashing their show. Like, I didn't even get any words out, really. I was just brainy from Hey Arnold, like just breathing down Helga's shoulder.
Oh, you did something to that show because y'all played the same.
Oh,
night.
yeah. That's good. Was that Pickles?
Yeah, the pickle pimp.
Yeah, it was Pickle Pimp.
So, explain another set that no one, maybe
Nah, they won't see it.
maybe 10 people that will listen to this or see this has seen this set. Also, what a great thing about improv is that it exists and then it's gone. And it's this beautiful experience shared by a finite number of people. And
Yep.
I don't know, it's great.
Yeah, those are some of the best shows you'll ever see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it, yeah.
And even if you
truly had to be there.
even if you tape them, it's still not.
It's not the same. Yeah.
But you did this, y'all. You had a scene that I think. Did you come back to it once or twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really like there was kind of a runner through the show, but you were the pickle pimp again. Very dumb. And you're like, I'm trying a new thing where I sell pickles. And I think a lot of improvisers will kind of stick to their guns and be like, I got to make it really silly or whatever. Or I'm going to abandon ship and be like, whatever, just kidding. Let's switch gears because I've run out of steam or I'm not getting laughs. And instead, someone questioned you and they went, hey man, are you okay? And you looked and you went, I am not. Yeah. You're like, I am trying to sell pickles to make a living, and do you understand how bad of an idea that is? And it's not going well, and I'm really struggling, and I don't know who I am anymore. And you could tell the audience was just like, what? Like, we didn't just abandon the scene because it got too silly. It's like, no, we reinvested in it and grounded it, and now it's this real person. We're all like, oh my god, is the pickle pimp gonna be okay?
Yeah.
And it was so funny.
Yeah, and someone just like set you up. I don't remember the exact line, but it was like, man, I'm just worried about you hitting the bottom. And you said, and then you said, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the bottom. And just lights out.
Awesome.
It was, and again, it was a really funny line, but in the context of the character, it was just such a grounded, like, of course that's what they'd fucking say.
Yeah.
And again, playing it for truth, not playing it for laughs, just makes it so much more fun for everybody to like play around with it. Like, you get so much more mileage out of the scene rather than just like selling everybody out for a cheap laugh. Like, it was just such smart playing. That was one of my favorite lines of the whole fest,
Yeah,
the whole
it was
festival.
awesome.
Well, y'all taught me to base reality, so you got to stick to reality. And the reality is, it's like if you a pimp and you selling pickles, you sorry as fuck. Like, what you doing? So like dog. So I mean, you know, hey, live it up.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Fuck.
Yeah, that is one of those things that, like, at the end of the day, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Because it's for people, and so we need to understand it to like connect to it somehow. And it's like, yeah, if this is true about this person, what else would be true about this person?
I don't know if this is going to be a podcast first, but I'm going to let you hold down the fort. I have to pee so badly. Just
Bobby, you take a break real quick?
We can take a break?
Yeah.
Amazing.
We needed to like probably a little bit ago. We good? Yeah, we take a break real quick. Yeah.
All right.
2, 1. We're back. All right, y'all. That was a nice little smoke break there. Yeah. I'm lying. We ain't smoked this time. But we still are going to talk about some hot shit, yo.
Yep.
Got to. You know how Too T3rp does. So, all right. Let's talk about a little bit of your cannabis origin. So, I do know y'all have partaken before. So, give me some funny smoke stories.
So I'll start by saying I have smoked a decent amount, like, but very like other people would set it up for me.
Okay.
I'm not like well versed in any of that stuff. I have some good stories, but like Ryan was like a connoisseur.
Oh, you was a pothead for real?
Oh, for real.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
But then the saddest thing happened.
Yeah. I started, like many people, I started having panic attacks every time I'd smoke. And it was a super bummer because I really, really liked getting high.
When did you start smoking?
I started smoking probably like my early 20s. I would say like 21, 22.
Okay.
And I had a roommate, one of my best friends, Steven, and
he told me a story about y'all getting high in class the other day. He's taking improv classes right now.
Oh, yeah. That's what's up.
He's great. He's we've been best friends since middle school. He is a connoisseur. Like he is a connoisseur. Like, I mean, he's one of the funniest people I know. But he loved good weed. He'd just buy like really good weed and
who doesn't like good weed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he just like it was.
Some people don't like. They don't. No, some
really?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a priority for him to get like really good shit.
He knew what it was when he sang "Dude."
And that was like, man, I just got to kind of tour the world because I never bought weed because Steven's always just like, we were roommates and he's like, I don't want to get high alone. Like I'm gonna smoke a bowl. You should just smoke a bowl with me. That's way more fun.
Oh, he's hella generous. Yo.
Yeah, no, it was like the best. It was the best like scenario. And yeah, like. Yeah,
he was also a vocal major.
Yeah, he was a vocal major.
Got a little opera guys.
Musician.
That's
He's
hard,
amazing.
Joe.
He's an amazing guitar player in his own right. He's like jazz guitar player, like really talented. We were in a band together for years and years and years. Songwriter. But yeah, really funny dude. And yeah, we would, we called it, our basement, our practice space, I guess our house was called Dolphin World. And we made a record called Dolphin World, but it was sort of like an inside joke because we would call getting high going to Dolphin World, because it just, like, if you really like think about it, it makes sense. Like, at least the weed that we were smoking. So we'd get like really high, and that was usually about like halfway during our practices. We get super high, and then we'd either go back and practice, and we just kind of like, we'd lay into like our parts a little bit and just be a little bit more relaxed, and things would sound better and feel better. Maybe like at least it felt like they sounded better. But I will say, like, one of my favorite guitar parts I ever wrote and played on our record that we made, I was high as a kite, and I was like, if I was sober, I would never have like come up with that line. I was just like present in the moment. So it was either that, or we would play Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 64. I would always play Pikachu, and I fucking dominated. I was like, that's one of my favorite things to talk about when I would get high. It was like everything, like particularly Smash Brothers, would start to happen in slow motion, and so that's why I got really good at it, because I was just like, I'm 5 moves ahead of you.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do is play video games high, yo.
Yeah.
Get in the zone, yo.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I know you're gonna jump. Yeah, you just jumped, you dumb fuck. I'm gonna like down B and electrocute you. Like I just like, I can't explain it. I could just like anticipate what other people were gonna do, and I'm just like, it's funny because I'm moving so quickly, but like in my brain everything is moving so slowly, and I was like, man, God, that's so fun. So it was either Smash Bros, play music, or I'd like go lay on my bed and you know, listen to records or whatever. But I also have like really dumb stories as well, but I want to make sure you get a chance to get in here.
So I started in my like mid to late 20s, because I was always terrified of getting in trouble. It's a thing in my life that's followed me. I have a very strong fear of authority. And in graduate school, a friend had like a back thing and was like, I have procured some weed, and this was when it was not legal.
Those are the best times, yo.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've procured
I agree.
weed for my partner because she's in pain, and does anybody want to come over? And I come over, and she ends up being too like nervous to do it. So me and my other buddy, Levi, end up smoking to be supportive. And what happened was, they had the folks that were hosting us ended up smoking none of it. Me and Levi smoked all of it, and I got so high that they like fed us dinner. They like made us food because I was just worthless. And someone brought donuts at some point, and I remember like just housing so many donuts to the point that my friend Levi was like watching me eat them and laughing really hard, thinking, because he kept telling himself I would stop at some point, and I didn't. I don't know. And then I got convinced that the house, like a yard away, definitely knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I got really paranoid.
That paranoia shit.
Yeah. I remember all of that.
I was covered in donut sugar, and I was like, they're gonna know through that window.
They're gonna know.
Yo.
Yeah, that was one of my earlier times. But maybe the most high I've ever been was we'd been on a friend trip.
Yeah.
And my ex loves, or at least loved weed and had various accoutrements and brought a bunch of stuff. So would kind of set everything up for everybody, which was really fun. Like, so he would sort of be like, what do we want to do? And kind of do the whole thing.
Yeah, that's usually me.
Yeah. And so like he liked vaporizers.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because he was worried about like his lungs and other things and all that stuff.
I feel you.
So he did a lot of that stuff. Anyway, I'm showing like how ignorant I am of this. But anyway, he'd be like, I want to give so and so a fresh bowl, so like just help me finish this one off really fast. It's not much. And I said, okay. So I finish it for him, and so much smoke comes out of my mouth. And he immediately gets this look on his face like, oh, I fucked up. And I go, was that a lot? And he goes, And everyone in the room was like, "You're probably fine." And one of my other friends, who was kind of high, went, "No, you're in trouble." And I was like, "Oh no." And I got so high that I was looking at Ryan's fiance, and we made eye contact, and we communicated telepathically. Here's the thing. It's not just me. She agrees it happened. So somehow we both were reading each other's minds, and we both were like, "Oh no," and freaked out and tried to explain to the group. And it happened like 3 times, and I got so freaked out, and I was like, she's gonna know my secrets that I went to bed. Yeah.
Oh man.
And I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
We use a powerful drug, yo.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
It gives you special powers, yo.
Yeah, evidently.
That's
Yeah.
why I smoke it all the time.
that's
Yeah.
zooted. That's like full zooted, and I think sort of like the tiers of it, and that's zooted. I've got so many just dumb fucking stories. One.
Steven told me in class the other day.
Oh, do you want to tell it? Because I don't know which story it is.
Steven told me in class the other day because we were doing a scene where he ended up being a cat.
I knew this. I knew it. I knew it. This was gonna be the story. One of the stories I was going to tell.
Afterwards, I was like, "You're really good at acting like a cat." And he goes, "Well, me and Ryan used to get high and do this thing where we act like cats." And I went, "Oh, okay."
Because we had
He's like, "I've had a lot of practice with this."
So we had a third roommate for a little while, our friend Liam, and it wasn't just like us being just like weird and out of pocket, like just like it's just us at home, like pretending to be cats. The full context of the story is we in our high brains thought it'd be really funny to trick our roommate Liam into thinking that we had gotten so high that we had turned into cats. And so it was just basically a bit that we did.
Meta.
It was a very meta bit, but we're like, okay, we're gonna just be cats, and Liam's gonna be like, why can't they talk anymore? And like, because we can't, because we've been turned into cats. And again, just a high thought that we found so funny. And I remember one time Liam came home, and he had to walk through the entire house to the back, like, you know, the 3 Seasons room or whatever, and we had a big old butcher table, and I'm just like high out of my gourd, just on all fours on top of this like butcher's table, and he's like,
You mean
what?
like butcher block table?
Butcher block table, yeah, this butcher block table. And I just started meowing at him, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then he went and found Steven, and Steven also meowed at him, and we found that endlessly hilarious.
I bet he loved it.
Oh, he loved it. He was like, okay, I want to be a cat too. You know, like, he's like, I want to get high. You know, this seems...
See, I would the exact opposite, but whatever y'all smoking, leave me out of that shit. I don't know what y'all on.
I don't want to be a cat. I want to be a human person. Yeah, so that's one of the stories that I always think about. Another thing that I really loved, and this isn't a funny story, this is just an aside. I loved watching comedies when I get high. Like, there are all of these like nuances and things that you just see and notice when you're high because you're just so fucking locked in. I remember watching Pineapple Express. I watched Pineapple Express so many times when I was high, and realized there are so many little like subtle details in that movie that I'm like, this movie was made by high people for high people. Like, so many subtleties in the performance and all of these like different choices that I was like, fuck, this is so funny. It's so clear that they were high in every stage of making this movie, and it is for me, the high consumer, to consume in this way. But yeah, I loved watching comedies while I was high.
I've never seen Pineapple Express before. Yeah.
Do it.
I got to, yeah.
Do it. It's one of those that I think just hits really well. Again, I think they're movies that are really good sober. You know, they're really good sober. I mean, Step Brothers is another one that's really good while you're high. Like, we had a whole list that we would just like kind of a list of probably like 30 or 40 movies that we would just rotate through that were like especially good.
Yeah,
when you
I say
smoke.
Sausage Party is my favorite.
What is it?
Sausage Party.
I haven't seen that one.
Got to, yo.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. That makes sense.
I'm very different.
Yeah, tell them about what you watch when you're high. This is good. This is a good segue.
So,
and then I'll get back into more stories.
So, the stories I told were like when I didn't know what I was doing, and I stumbled into funny experiences. Over the pandemic, like a lot of people, I was just imbibing because I was alone. Well, I mean, I was living with my husband at the time, but like we weren't going anywhere. You have a lot of time. You kind of want to zone out and not think about the world. So I was smoking quite a bit over the pandemic.
Hell yeah.
And just it'd be cozy and you'd make food and eat snacks and all that. But my favorite thing to watch, I think it's still on Prime Video, but it's this TV show called Secret Life of the whatever, and it's like a How It's Made type show, but this was Secret Life of the Cruise Ship. It's like a British mini documentary, but not like hard hitting. There's just like a voiceover guy who talks about these different parts of the cruise ship.
Like, how do you do laundry?
Like, how does laundry work on a cruise ship?
Oh, see, I thought it was like be some drama shit. Like,
No. This is
How does laundry work on a
you
cruise
know
ship?
that like those like Food Network shows that are like, how are Twinkies made? It's that, but for cruise ships. So it was like there's a whole section where they meet the guy at the docks that's in charge of getting all the food onto the, and he's like talking about logistics. I'd be getting high, being like, oh, that's a lot of pineapples. He had to send the pineapples back because they weren't good enough. They didn't meet quality standards. The ship has to leave in 2 hours. Oh no. Then you get this whole thing about laundry, and I'm like, they gotta wash napkins on the ocean. That's crazy. And then they would talk about the amount of water they have to like pump into the boat and clean for like just the water slides. And it blew my mind every time.
Yeah.
That this technology exists. I think it's a terrible idea. I was like, it's a miracle cruise ships exist and aren't devastating every time.
You on my type of time when it comes to weed, Joe. You really be on that conspiracy shit. See,
Yeah.
I see where you're going with it.
Yes.
I see where you're going.
I made several people watch it with me. I would just be like, I need to get high today and watch my favorite show, which is The Secret Life of the Cruise Ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite things to do is like get it like into real deep shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like watching like thrillers and all that stuff. That's my favorite.
Now see that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
That. I think that would freak me out.
Yeah, same.
No,
I was
I'm
had
all
to do
in there, yo.
God, you're
I really
lucky.
freaked out.
Yeah, I had to stick pretty hard to comedies. I'm trying to
I said to stick really hard to weird tiny documentaries just about this one cruise ship.
Yeah, I remember
You're watching like horror movies?
I see. I'm not a
Or
horror
like,
movie
or
person.
like real crime thriller stuff.
Like shit that could actually happen. I like those type of horror
Damn.
movies. Yeah.
I get way too paranoid.
I'm all about that. Like, yo.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
It's just like it's fun because it's just like I don't know. Yeah.
Because you're like, it could happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
And see, my high ass would be sitting there in my house and I'd be like, there's definitely someone outside.
Yeah, it's happening right now to me.
Yeah.
It's happening right now
can
to
do
me.
that.
God, that's really good.
Yo.
Yeah.
But I feel like even if something like that did happen, it's like, what do you do? So I guess that's kind of where it's just like that thing of where it's like, I mean, I do the exact same thing I'm doing now, just watch.
Yeah.
That's why I used to. I know I always say this, but I miss my old view because I always had this thing of like, if the world just did fall apart and shit like that, I had the bomb ass view. I was like 17 floors up, so I would just be doing just like on the balcony, just chilling, watching everything.
Yeah. That's a wild.
Yeah, that's a piece that I.
What else can you
know.
do?
But yeah, you're like, if the world is gonna just like end, I want to have a good view for it. And for me, I'm like, I think I would want to be asleep and not know it was happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Another story that I think of, and this is one of like, this is not a cool story. This is not being a cool person. So again, going back to that in the first half. So Steven and I, for the longest time, we just had a power hitter that we would smoke out of. But he got just a wild hair one day, and he was like, I really want to upgrade my setup. I really just want to go get I want to go get a bong.
Oh shit.
And we're like, okay, great. So we went to that place in the Delmar Loop.
Oh, happy Sunshine Daydream.
Yeah, Sunshine Daydream. I think so. I
We've
think
all
it was,
been there.
yeah, so I think
One
it was
time or another.
yeah, I think it was Sunshine Daydream.
It's a starter pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
weed starter pack.
Yeah.
And he bought a really nice bong, a really, really nice bong.
What'd it look like?
It was like a Z bong, like a Z bong. And yeah, I mean, it was just like perfect size, perfect weight. I mean, just like, it was amazing. Like I loved that. I love that bong. But we're making a big deal out of it. We're like, okay, we got a new bong. Neither of us, work today. And so we like went to the grocery store and was like, we're going to make a meal. And we had his grinder. And we'd realized a couple of days before, one of the reasons they wanted to go buy a new bong is that the little keef reservoir in the bottom of it was entirely full. Ooh. Like we'd really holding off and like not doing any like toppers or anything like that. And we're like, we're going to make a nice dinner. We're going to pick a comedy and we're going to do an entire bowl of keef. Ooh, And so we made our dinner. We got the movie queued up. He's like, I'm going to go upstairs and make us some drinks. And I knocked the keef over. That's the exact perfect sound effect. I knocked.
Did you brush it up with like a bunch of dust and shit?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it went. Cause
Did you have dogs at the time?
No, there were no dogs in the house. But I mean,
we would smoke that anyway. Hey, that shit ain't. Hey,
yeah,
it's hard to come by, yo.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it was into carpet. That was not. I mean, it was a rug. Well, it's not a carpet. It was a rug. Yeah. And so I'm just like picking it up, and we're like, we've gotta do this. We've gotta still do this. And we did, and it was fantastic, and nobody died, and nobody got sick. It was just, yeah, there was just some dust. It was what it was. But that was one of those moments in my life. I was like, God damn it. Like,
I mean, the lint just evaporated with the fire anyway, so it's all good, man.
And we got another shot at it a couple months down the road, and I did not spill the bowl that time. So do you have a sound effect for that where I didn't do the really uncool thing? Yeah. All right. Sick.
I was like, I didn't think about it. I was like, what are we gonna do here? I liked it.
Redeemed. The other thing that's not like a really like funny story, but one of my favorite high memories was I had a day off, and we lived in the Hill at the time, and we walked down to Joya's. We got sandwiches at Joya's, and we do that all the time when we would get high because obviously eating is a huge thing, and I love food. And so we got super high. We went down to Joya's, and Steven's like, I want to go to a cards game today. And I was like, okay. And Steven was just like an entirely different financial situation than I was. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. You know, let's get some cheap seats. Let's go to a Cardinals game. And he's like, no.
He got you the green seats?
I want to buy the green seats. And I was like,
damn.
Okay, so I'm like,
that's dangerous when you're high too.
Yeah, and I'm like belly full of Joyas. I'm off work. I'm already having an amazing day, and he goes ahead and buys the tickets. I don't see what tickets he buys, but they're like expensive. I was like, how much do I owe you? He's like, again, this is the kind of generous spirit he was. He's like, I just want a friend to go with. To think of this as like my treat, and so we go to the cards game. And again, I did not come from means. So when I went to cards games growing up, like we never had like great seats, and we'd like smoked at home and then smoked like on the way. I think we took the metro, and we get in there, and Steven flashes his phone or whatever, and we go in, and he's like, we're not going up, we're going down. And so we go down, 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 and we are first row, third baseline. I mean, just a beautiful.
Did you start in like the buffet? Did you go to the food the inside part?
Yes, there's like the inside part down there, and yeah, I remember it was just like, it's that quote of like, man, if this isn't good, I don't know what is. And I just like, I had that moment because again, I'm just like so pleasantly high. It is like a beautiful summer day. It's not egregiously hot at the ballpark. It's probably
people will just bring you hot dogs if you ask for them.
Yeah, it's like it's like 75 to 80 degrees. I'm sitting on the third baseline, and I just remember blue sky, big puffy white clouds, just like a beer, hot dogs, and I was like, I'm going to remember this. Yeah. This is heaven. And that is one of my like fondest memories of just like getting really high and just like being blissed out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was just so good. Anyway,
those are the best.
yeah, really, really, really
It's a very
good.
different experience, but one of my very, very, very first times getting high. Very first times. I was no longer in college, but I was working near a college campus. And so I got a little high, and then we just took and it was summertime, so like pretty empty on campus. It was a big state campus, so just took a walk through really beautiful, like lit, manicured, kind of in between old buildings. And I had this distinct feeling. The air was really still, and I was like, we're in a snow globe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, we're in this little like fake town, like fake world, and we're tiny in a snow globe. And I just remember it being like such a visceral, specific kind of feeling, like the air and the temperature and the lights and the way everything felt. And
that is best to be in nature. Like I used to live in Denver for like 2 months. I was trying to make a permanent move out there in like 2018. That's where I first wanted to start podcasting and do all my stuff at. And so what I would do is I had a friend out there, and we would go on hikes. And so before we would get there, we would smoke, and then I think at the beginning we would take an edible. Then halfway through the hike, we pull off somewhere off the trail, do like a smoke break, and those would be like some of the best things. We would go up in the mountains, and that was just like some of the greatest times I ever had. Was just being in the mountains and hiking and getting high. That was like some of the greatest shit ever.
because it just like slows you down, and you're like paying attention to
Yeah. It's like it gets so much more vivid, like you know, the views and everything. Like your vision, taste, everything. Just man.
Yeah. Taste specifically, man. I love.
Oh yeah.
I loved my favorite crazy high meal that I made was, and I would make it for whoever would just trust me enough to eat it. But I got really high, and we only had certain foods in the house, and I was like, I'm gonna make some teriyaki salmon, and I'm gonna put it on Velveeta shells and cheese.
Whoa.
It's brilliant. To this day, I would stand by it. It shouldn't work. You think about it, it's calculating in your brain. You're like, I don't know if those flavor profiles work. Genius. Like I'm saying, like usually I'm not patting myself on the back, but I made that several times, and not just for me. I made it for Steven. I made it for other people. They'd come over, they get high, and I'm like, you know what you have to eat? Teriyaki salmon, Velveeta shells and cheese. Never had a detractor, never had a naysayer. Everyone was like, God damn, this should not hit the way that it actually does. So
I knew you were gonna give me something. I knew you were gonna give me something to work with. I knew it. I was like, I'm waiting. I was waiting to hit that drop. I was like, I knew you were gonna give me something with this.
yeah.
That's a very elaborate food to make.
I know, but again, it was like, you talk about like being focused. I've always loved cooking. I love being in the kitchen. I love to cook. And so
See, I just melt.
yeah,
I
well,
just get high and kind of.
I love that. I love
be
that
chilling.
too. I love that too. But again, I'm like, it was kind of following through the end product. I'm like, damn, what would be better than like watching a movie that I really love, some really fucking good food right in front of me to enjoy while I have, watch this movie. And like, again, I wasn't opposed to snacks. Like it'd be like fucking candy and chips and, shit like that. But every now and again, I'm like, all right, I'm putting the apron on and I'm gonna like,
Gotta go crazy.
gotta go crazy a little bit.
See, and that was the. If I didn't do that before, I was not gonna happen.
That was
Really?
so fun.
Yeah. I just get
mad
way
scientist.
too.
Yeah.
I get way too paralyzed.
Really?
Like, my ex-husband would have to like get the cat off of me and the blanket off of me and the pillow off of me because I'd be like, I can't get out. Do you know what I mean? I get stuck. But I would eat. My pandemic snack was popcorn and raisins.
Ooh. Okay.
Really
okay.
good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Popcorn and raisins.
Salty and sweet.
Yeah.
But like, just a good combination.
Yeah.
I like craisins.
Oh,
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So good, yeah.
Yeah. Not as soft as raisins.
Nah.
No.
Yeah.
Good texture, good flavor.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, craisins hit. I used to like raisins back in the day, like them raisin dudes, the little action figure
Raisinets.
things. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I love
Try with
Raisinets.
popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah. God, I love those. Speaking of field, one of my other favorite times was short story, but we got kind of a crazy strain of weed, and they're like, apparently it's a lot of fun, gets really high, and we ended up calling it Face Fountain because it felt like you would sort of like lean back, and it felt like there was a fountain in the middle of your face, and you were just being splashed with just like little droplets of water. So we would like pause the movie and just like lean back and just be like, "Do you feel that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I feel that. It feels really good." Because imagine like, like a little mist on your face just feels really nice. But that was one of my favorite strains that I ever smoked. No idea what it was called, but we called it Face Fountain.
Yo, we gotta find that. For real.
Yeah.
Shit.
Put a team on it.
I bet
honestly,
could find it.
I can't say. I think y'all be a little surprised. We be having some people. We got geneticists and all that stuff. People who grow weed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Find me that Face Fountain. Find it. Make it. It was special. It was good.
Hell yeah. Okay, but I got one more question, yo.
All right.
This is usually my favorite one to ask. So, all right, you got a room, you got a nice chill room, and I like to add a little bit more to it since I'm with improv people. Last time I did this with Leaker, it was actually really fun. Okay, so you got a smoke session. You can pick 5 people, dead or alive, to be there, and you also got to pick the place where y'all gonna have this session at.
Oh no! God, I wish I'd thought about this. You're gonna have to pause for effect.
Oh no, you good, you good.
Where would I have this?
This is hard because knowing the way I get when I smoke, which is just melty, I wouldn't. There's so many impressive people that I would love to like have high conversations with, but I'd be too embarrassed. You know what I mean?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
because I'd be stuck under blankets and stuff, and just like waste the interaction.
I'm trying to think. I usually it's usually the same 5 people. I always try to do somebody different though. So like, of course, got to have Kobe in there. He been fucking up lately. It used to be Drake, but I gotta switch him out. He been acting a little goofy lately. So he gotta come out the rotation. Sorry, dog. I won't replace him with Kendrick though. I won't be rude like that. I won't do that.
You can. I don't think anyone would fault you for it.
Yeah, but then I feel like I just be a victim of the moment. So can't do that. Can't do that. So damn, who else would be in there?
And
you two. I haven't smoked with y'all yet.
We made the list. Let's go.
Make that happen, yo. Yeah.
I would do it anytime. I will be boring, and I will make you watch a career shit show. I'm telling you, and it will blow your mind.
I'm probably ready to check that shit out though, because I like being on some deep shit. So I kind of see where you go with that.
I'll be in the corner dissociating and hyperventilating. So
but if anybody could get this to happen, because I've been trying to get. It's been years. How many years has it been?
I mean, it's been many years. I mean, at least 5, close to 10.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And I'm like, the memories are so fond.
I don't know. I
think if you ate enough food, or because you've worked a lot on how to deal with panic attacks and get all those things in order. I don't want you to have a bad time. There's got to be a mix of things to make it possible again.
Gotta go to the woods. Somewhere open land.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Where you don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not feeling like stuck. And the last time I had a bad experience, I went outside to feel better. Yeah. So, and it did help. It's kind of funny because there's obviously the portion of your question is like, who do you want to get high with? But the place that my brain immediately went to, I think this is the truest answer. You said dead or alive, and I'm choosing my grandparents.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with my grandparents in the same house as them. My mom and I lived on a duplex in one side, and my grandparents lived on the other side, so they helped raise me.
Yeah.
Basically, I was extremely close with my grandparents, and I'm like, it'd just be nice to talk to them again. Yeah. So that might be 2 of my people, just because maybe we could get high. I don't know how well we'd all do, but it'd just be, I don't know. That feels like a good answer for me.
Oh yeah.
For two people, I'll keep thinking on it though. Do you have anybody yet?
I mean, I really want to get high with you, which I've said before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I got to pick, you'd be one of the people because I just want to
Likewise. Yeah.
share that experience.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that. It'd be really fun to.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun.
We have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, all the creative stuff that we work on, I think it'd be just a really fun like adventure. You know.
And I just hear these stories, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I want to see you high.
Yeah.
You've seen me high, so
Yeah.
we also need to balance that out.
Yeah.
Keep it even.
I have a location.
Oh, good. Good. Okay.
This is really dumb, but it's the only one I can think of,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I've been playing Zelda.
Hell yeah.
I've been replaying Breath of the Wild, which is a beautiful game. It's like a comfort game, and like around the holidays and cold weather and snow days and stuff, it's just nice to start up a file and run around Hyrule, I guess.
I didn't take you as a gamer. That's hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself a gamer, but I will play like 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, Zelda, that's like deep in there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that one is
Takes
just,
dedication to play that game.
Yeah, and I get really locked in. Like I'll only play that for like 3 months.
I got you.
I can't play a different game because I forget
Yeah,
how to use the
yeah.
controller. So I have to like focus on one thing at a time. But I've been playing that, and it's so beautiful. And Zora's Domain.
Yeah.
And
I
all the
love
all
that
the-
I love that you're going with like a fictional place. This is really good.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Yeah.
every time I'm always like so shocked. I'm like, it's so pretty. And it's all crystally and it glows at night. And there are all these pools where all the weird fish people, they're kind of hot weird fish people, are just like in pools, like reclining and sleeping and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I want to smoke and I want to be zooted out of my mind at
Are you kidding?
Zora's Domain.
Just like in like basically a giant hot tub.
Yeah, I love that.
It
That
glows
feels
in the dark.
You said got your mermaid in there?
Yeah.
that feels like a t-shirt. Like I got zooted out of my mind in Zora's Domain, and
Yeah.
all I got was this t-shirt. Like
Yeah.
that shit. That's really good. God.
That's funny, yo.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was an actual gamer, I'd have somewhere in like Baldur's Gate that's like very cool and sexy. Instead, I'm like, how about this children's game?
I don't know. Zelda's a good pick.
Yeah.
Zelda's a really good pick. I wouldn't have gone like fictional, but a place would probably be like that for me. Like, I don't know, somewhere outdoors, somewhere big. Like, you hear things about like Lake Tahoe or like Big Sur, or like go to like the Dolomites or Lake Como.
You want to know something
Lake
funny?
Como. Yeah.
That's what that is inspired by.
Let's
amazing.
go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. Like that. I mean, something like that. You just see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just what a beautiful.
That was actually one of my high trips. This is the first time I went canoeing, and I went without a life
And
vest.
that's you.
Yeah.
No life vest.
Yeah. Yep. And we went to
great.
like, it was like a little island in the middle. And so we went to it, and they had like a fake treasure chest in there. And it had like all these fake jewels and shit in there.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Zelda shit. Like
Yeah,
real
Zelda
life
in
Zelda
real life.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something
awesome.
like that would probably be mine. I'm trying to think of like who else, like other.
At the end of the day, I probably would like just pick like several of my good improv friends.
Hell yeah.
Who are most of my friends at
Yeah.
this point. But like, yeah, it's just the people that I love bidding with, where you're already like super safe, you know, and you
Yeah.
can think of the weirdest things and say the weirdest things, and it's gonna be fine.
Yup.
Yeah, like y'all can be there, and
Yeah, it's like.
just I'm thinking of now like lots of people.
Yeah, and it's like tempting for me because like I'm like, you know, there's my fiance and there's Steven, and like these are all people that I've been high with before, and so I'm like really trying to think of like who have I not been high with before, like who's like, you know, somebody like that I look up to, like a celebrity or a
Specifically,
writer
who
or
have you not been high with before in Zora's Domain?
anybody
Right,
that is so
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess that anybody's kind of on the table like
Yeah.
at that point. Oh man. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mentioned Conan. Conan would be really, really cool. He's just so funny. There are a lot of people. Like, I think of like writers too. I think would be really cool. I also think like Martin Short is another comedian that I really like.
I just thought of a crazy one for me.
Yeah.
There's a guy they interview on the cruise ship show.
This is really good.
That I would love to just be like, tell me everything. He's
Yeah.
I couldn't be high on the cruise ship because I would freak the fuck out.
Yo, for real though.
Cruise ships are terrible. Like,
I was gonna ask that. Yo, so like, have you ever been on a cruise ship or anything?
no.
I have.
Really?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I don't like
like
being
your
stuck.
type.
Speaking of being stuck, I don't like being stuck.
Word.
It was a nice time. Like, it was a nice enough time, but I just like every time I got to like get off the ship and go to like an all inclusive where I'm on a beach or something like that. Like, give me that shit.
Yup, that's
You
me.
know, like-
That's me.
The just endless ocean and knowing all of the systems that have to work correctly.
It gets dark out there at night.
That's what the aliens are.
Terrifying.
Yep.
Yeah.
For real. I ain't bullshitting. That's what the aliens are, yo.
Down deep.
Oh, well, but genuinely on that show, there's a guy who is like the cruise ship director. And the whole time I was like, this guy has secrets.
He seen the aliens, yo.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to talk to him about what this job is like. So I might invite that guy.
Yeah, he be lit, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I just watched a movie recently, American movie, and either the two like main guys in that, I think it's Mark and Mike. I think Mike passed away. Mark's still alive.
Condolences, yo.
Yeah. I just loved that movie, and yeah, they were just really solid, sweet dudes, and I was like, yeah, it'd be fun to do that with them. Mm-hmm. And that movie's like kind of fresh in my brain, so I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, I've already named several people, but
I'd have Christian Bale there, yo.
Oh, interesting.
He a G.
yeah.
Yeah. I saw American Psycho for the first time like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's why it's like fresh in your brain. And you're like,
it was tight.
Isn't that a wild?
Yeah.
Like it's a weird. Is it technically a dark comedy?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Technically,
because
it is.
it is funny and it is horrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's a really fascinating. Directed by a woman, right?
it is directed by a woman. Yeah, yeah.
I know, makes you think.
Yo.
Yeah.
I know it changes some things, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of,
Okay, now some things. All right, now I'm
Yeah.
liking this for real.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought of a sketch idea, yo.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, tell us.
Really good. Where is it? Where is it? Give me the plot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's got a nice little plot twist to it.
Yeah,
Oh
quick
my God.
quick on, quick off. And you weren't doing that for yourself. I couldn't reach. So
No, you
I don't
did.
want you to feel weird about
Yeah,
it.
that's why I heard it was like
I'm giving
Yeah,
you
that's
your
amazing.
flowers.
Thank
That was
you.
from me for you. It's really good.
it's coming, yo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of writers. What writers? Like writers, authors. I mean, you like you really like Thomas Pynchon.
I don't think I get high with Thomas Pynchon.
Yeah.
No, I like.
dude's crazy.
Although I mean, his novels are very kind of like
Yeah,
you
because
can
then
feel a little high when you're reading them. So
yeah,
maybe it would fit.
yeah, and then I think of like, I don't know, a great thinker of mine, like James Baldwin, someone like who'd be like really, really fucking smart to talk to, like socially, philosophically, like that would be cool. But again, I'd just be like, I'd be so melty that I'm like,
Yeah, I'd be too embarrassed.
Yeah, I'd be way too embarrassed to get high with James Baldwin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that like it's really cool in theory, but then I'm like, God, he'd come back from the dead for a smoke sesh with me, and
Like
then
this stupid idiot.
and then he'd be like, this is what you invited me back for. Just let me go be in heaven in peace.
yeah.
Just fade out real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. The weird cruise ship guy, probably mostly my friends that I just could melt with and not have to worry about, like get social anxiety about.
Yeah.
Aaron from Some Black People, I
Yeah.
think would be really fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yo, I got smoke with him, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the people
I'm
I
so
got smoke
curious
with.
what he's like.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to smoke with most of SBP actually.
Yeah,
For real. I've only smoked with Jessica so far.
I'm adding my dogs
I would
to
smoke
the
with
list.
all of SBP.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm adding my dogs to the list.
Yeah.
'Cause I have not smoked since I've had my dogs, and I think it would be so overwhelmingly emotional for me to
Yeah, you'd
like.
cry.
I'd sob. I'd cry like a fucking baby to get high and pet my dogs. They're definitely there for that. They're definitely they take up 2 slots.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and like again, like friends that I haven't gotten high with, like close friends from the shop. I just think it'd be fun, really fun to bit and fuck around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answers.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to get high with Andy, yo. I feel like that would be interesting.
He's like me.
Andy
Yeah?
gets anxious.
Yeah. I the way that I've talked about it
I haven't
before,
gotten Heather for that reason because he's like, oh, I'll freak out.
Yeah, I'll freak out. I talk about it, if you've seen Get Out, that's what happens to me.
Oh, shit.
It's like I start falling backwards and reality
You get trapped in your...
I get trapped in my brain and everything is just on this little TV that's like 50 feet in the air.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I can't breathe. I can't reach it.
Got
I can't.
you.
Yeah. So it's like, it's basically Get Out, like, sinking to the floor.
Yeah.
Like that's me.
I got you.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. No, I know. I loved it. Again, like Ashley said, I used to be every day.
Might need to start on some Reggie first.
That's yeah, exactly.
And like get your vitamin B levels right or whatever.
Yeah. Make sure I've eaten a good meal and then just like smoke some like really weak shit. Yeah.
That's usually like when I had that tolerance break. That's what I did. That's what I should have did the first time.
Yeah. I feel like it's so hard to find now because like everything is
Designed
bioengineered to get you as high as possible. Oh, so you know where to look. All right. Okay.
Well, there's also all these like brands now too that sell relaxation stuff.
I'm
I'm
anti-corporate. I'm all about the homegrown.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homies in the basements. That's that's where I'm at.
See, and I've thought about doing that to like really have control over my own destiny, but I don't know that I'm a botanist in that way.
Well, there is like a market now, a sub like for soccer moms that don't want to drink wine anymore.
Yeah.
No, for real though.
And they don't want to get zooted. They want to just
take the edge off. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
Oh, no, they be getting zooted too though. Oh, they be going hard, Joe.
in the commercials. They're like, I just need a pleasant little.
Yeah, I want the like wine cooler version. You know what I'm saying? Like I just the Mike's soft lemonade. It can't be too much, or I'm gonna clock out basically.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fuck with edibles at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, that's
Flower power for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was always same with me.
I've had like homemade ones, and then it is like, well, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't have a very scientific process.
Yeah.
I got a couple of homies. They're like, they're really like they're pastry chefs and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're like real thorough with it.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. It's really cool. I've got a friend of mine that runs a dinner club, and it's all cannabis infused. And I've heard. I mean, she's been featured in newspapers and shit like that. But she's apparently just like a fucking pro. And
Shout them out.
Yeah, I think it's called like the Chartreuse Supper Club or Chartreuse Dinner Club. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. She might be. I think she's moving to like Arizona or something.
Okay, yeah, they just got legal not too long ago.
And see, I've just had really weird, not very good like butter and oils.
Yeah, they got all types of shit. They got sugar.
Yeah. It's the Chartreuse. Yeah, it's the Chartreuse Dinner Club.
Okay.
Aaliyah. It's so funny to shout her out because like we don't like talk very regularly at all, but like she's one of those people that's like doing shit, and I'm like, damn, good for you. Like and it's not like I think some of those things where you do cannabis infused meals and you really like lean on the fact that it's like cannabis infused, and so like the cooking will suffer. Like no, like all of her dishes look fucking incredible. Like this is like masterfully cooked and also infused with cannabis.
Like this pastry chefs I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's really cool to watch people be
Not like the cookies
Yeah.
that we would make.
Yeah.
just
They were
yeah.
Yeah.
mess.
Shout out Mad World Edibles. Shout out the homies at the table. And there's quite a few people out there. Yeah, y'all do y'all thing.
That's great.
Hell yeah. But shit, all right, man. I didn't mean to even keep y'all this long. This is like
so fun.
honestly, I did not expect for this to go this long. I appreciate it. I'm actually hyped. I'm like, all right, they liked it. They liked
We
it.
had the best time.
I had a great time.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It flew. I can't believe we've been talking this long.
Yeah.
This was so fast.
Yeah, I could talk to y'all about improv
And weed.
and
Yeah.
hypothetical. Yeah, one day we gotta get you.
Nah, for real though.
Yeah,
All right. We'll
We're
see.
gonna make that happen, yeah.
yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll live stream it and watch me just like.
Nah, I ain't gonna do you like that. I did that to myself, so I can't do you like that.
Yeah.
I just haven't smoked in a really long time, so if we did, I would go nonverbal immediately. But I have a great, I'd have a lot of thoughts, but they would not make it to my mouth.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I get y'all right. I won't bring the hard stuff. I'll make sure to get the one of the homies that I know. You know, they got the reg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's good.
I'll bring popcorn and
Raisins, yeah, popcorn and raisins.
and everything bagel seasoning.
Ooh,
And
bagel seasoning.
everything bagel
Everything
seasoning.
bagel seasoning. So like garlic and sesame seeds,
Onion
and
powder.
Oh,
All mixed in there.
go to show how much I eat bagels.
Yeah, it's really.
And I'll bring the teriyaki salmon
Ooh.
and Velveeta shells.
Yeah, we definitely got to put that to the test, yo. I gotta see
Yeah.
what that's hitting for, yo.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Gosh, it's. I'm gonna laugh when I do it again, and I'm like, "What was I thinking?" You know, it's gonna be one of those things, and just like the clear light of day just did not work as well as I thought it did. But I don't know.
It would be fun to do like with our friends a potluck for a high potluck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a potluck.
There we go.
Ooh,
There we go. That's better than what I said.
Ooh, which one? Actually, yeah, we gonna drop some bombs for that one. That one was fire. Yeah,
I was like, a high potluck?
yeah.
And you went, you mean a potluck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it was
like
perfect.
that.
Yeah, really good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it did. I stand by it.
We gotta make this happen at the shop now. That's only
Yeah, let's do
guaranteed.
it.
Hell yeah. But all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all really got me on cloud nine now. Like, I'm really feeling myself now. You know.
Yeah,
Feel
you
legit.
should. You're doing so many cool things, and it's really fun.
No,
Yeah,
It's
thank
so
you.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
really.
it means a lot to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us for real.
Yeah.
For real.
For real, though. This is an honor.
We were definitely nervous, but this whole thing has just been a delight. So
Yeah, this
you.
is hella fun. Y'all got to come back.
yeah,
We will.
we'd love to.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But all right, let them know where to find y'all at.
Yeah, we're on Instagram at Touch Baseball Improv.
Yeah.
We don't post
A lot.
but that's
trying to
something
get
that we're
better.
that's something we're trying to get better at.
2025,
Yeah, we're trying to figure out like what that looks like for us, because again, we're just like really married to the game of like doing live theater, and then it just sort of evaporates. But then there's this whole thing of like, you got to run your own social media, and you got to do short sketches and promos and things like that. And I'm just like, damn, I'm not a content. I don't feel like a content creator in that way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something. But
Such a skill, yeah.
but anyway, yeah, it's such a skill I have immense respect for. But yeah, Touch Baseball Improv on Instagram.
And then yeah, we do corporate workshops too, in addition to like teaching improv at the Improv Shop. So on the Improv Shop's website, theimprovshop.com, the business services page goes to us. That's the contact form goes to us. And yeah, we do just companies of all sizes, organizations, schools, nonprofits, anything. If you want to do team building or just get your team working together sort of more collaboratively.
Creative problem
Creatively,
solving,
yeah, that's what we
and
do.
conflict resolution and executive coaching, that kind of stuff. We use improv to make that really fun. We think, we hope,
Yeah, we try.
we try.
Y'all do. Made me a believer. Hey, I'm still at it. So
Yeah, killing it. Oh my God.
All right,
thank you.
I will. I'll meet you all in Zora's domain.
FedEx.
Yeah.
Y'all already know. But y'all already know it's been another episode. Make sure y'all follow Too T3rpd on Instagram. Make sure follow us on all socials. Make sure you follow us on that YouTube. The Patreon content is coming soon because I need to start getting some real money off of this. So
Let's do it.
Yeah, new content, more content. Yeah, hopefully more episodes during the week. That's the plan. Do more than one. Yeah, I got some plans. And then hit that hotline with the voicemails and text 314-399-9711. And then don't forget to follow me, Donovan2408, on all social media platforms. Oh shit, that's right. We got a show this week. Come check some black people out. House Teams, 8 p.m. Main stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Do that. And then we have a 145 show on Saturday. And then we don't.
Nat 7.
Yeah, Nat 7 is coming up. That's another fun show that we do that we're a small part of. It's an improvised Dungeons and Dragons show. Ooh. And so there's like light costuming, and it's that's like a dream what's like it's like nightmare blunt rotation. That's like a dream blunt rotation. Like everybody in that cast is like really fun and funny. Okay. And so yeah, it's an improvised D&D show that we always just have a blast with, and that's I think February 7th. But yeah, 145s is.
If you go to the Some Black People show,
yes,
you can check out all the rest of the calendar while you're at the show.
Yeah, yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, I like that. See, yeah, hell yeah. But y'all already know it's been another episode, and we will see y'all next week. Peace. Ooh, damn, I almost had it. There we go. I gotta try it now. Alright.
It's Too T3rpd.
have a great time.